Hello everyone, welcome to Concepts. It's your boy Mr. R. I know I promised concepts and we're finally here, right? Today we're going to be speaking about Lobola. Lobola. I think we established in the talk sessions that Lobola is not an African concept. It just has an African name. So, not an African concept, but a spiritual concept. So, other people may know it as Dory, but you will find it in many traditions, in many cultures all over the world, right? So you cannot talk about a spiritual concept with a carnal person, because a carnal person only knows how to deal with physical properties. They cannot comprehend the things of the spirit because they are beyond the brain. They are beyond normal understanding. So how did we end up having Lobola? So in all these cultures and tradition, there was always a spiritual person who will connect with the spirit and narrate spiritual things to the nation or the tribe that they are from, right? So a way to start a family unit. So even before telephones and technologies, people will connect to a higher realm where they can get to know the same concepts without even talking to each other, right? And then, like I said, it is a matter of starting a family unit, all right? So if you want to start a family, depending on where you are, okay, we're going to dive into it. For now, let's establish this, that it is there to start a family unit in the spiritual realm. There's a physical realm, there's a spiritual realm. Okay, so in a family unit or in a crawl, this is gonna be crawl A, this is gonna be crawl B. Family unit 1, family unit 2. So this family here has a daughter. This one has a son. And these two wants to start a family. Depending on the tradition or the culture that you're from, it will depend who pays the price. But the price has to be paid. This spiritual concept, there has to be a price paid. Right? This is very, very important. This is key. So in the African tradition, what happens is there is a negotiation between the two families, right? They sit down and and negotiate to say how much will this price be. Right? And then after the price is settled, a new family is created, a new crawl. From both these, right? So this is crawl C, or family unit number C. However, So the daughter in this has an identity. Maybe let's call her Sarah Williams. This is just an example, right? And I'm sorry to Sarah Williams if there is a Sarah Williams who was watching this and feel offended. Now, when a price is paid here, Lobola, this part means to rot, to die and rot. So this identity gets destroyed, cancelled. And then a new identity is created for Sarah Williams. That's why you'll find in some cultures, once a price is paid, the woman not only changes the last name or the surname, she also changes her name, or they give her a new name. Why? Because of a new identity. A new identity is created for her. Let's say she gets married to a Tswana person, and all of a sudden she is Mabatu, right? Musalais. Just for example. So, what do we mean when we say an identity is being destroyed, or we are Lobola? She's rotten. It means that every ancestral thing that was connecting her to this scroll gets erased. Meaning the way they were doing things where she's from is no longer part of her. She has to adopt to the way they do things now in this scroll. What does this mean? It means the very structure of scroll B now resides in her. Spirituality of side B now resides with her, and so on and so forth, right? I want to dive in deeper. Let's talk about, what does it mean to say the order of the old is gone and the new has come? So, let me rewrite it. Scroll B. Right? We know that Sarah Williams is no more. We now have Mabatu Salais. Okay, destroyed. Nothing connects her spiritually with this anymore. There's a new spirituality, new order. And we spoke about the concept of being reborn, born again, or reborn. Then we talk about an identity that is new. These are very, very important concepts. So now, we have situations where Sarah Williams still wants to hold on to her old traditions. And this happens a lot. You'll find that she claims that, let's say for example, she's an African, and in this crowd they believe in ancestral callings, or there were inyangas before. ancestral callings, or yes, amadlozi, as other people will put it. So now she claims that this Crow A is trying to reclaim her. She has to do the work of Crow A. This is confusion, right? I know you want us to agree with you and everything, but the truth is you are confused. Why are you confused? Because you cannot serve this family unit when you are in a new unit, when you are in a new family unit, when there's nothing connecting you with the previous one, unless if the Lobola process was not done correctly. It definitely was not done correctly, or once you were in this crawl, you did rituals of the old family, rituals. So you'll find that Mabatu Musalais still identifies herself as Sarah Williams, and she's trying to, invoke the spirits, or she's trying to do the rituals of this house when she's in a new order. This creates conflict in the spirit, spiritual conflict, right? So it creates a spiritual conflict, and then people feel like, oh, my great-grandmother is calling me, they want me to work for them. Then why are you in this family unit? Why are you here? Because now you are no longer a child of this house. You are a child of this house. Nothing connecting you with this house, but everything connecting you with this. So if you feel like you are having an issue here, you are supposed to be consulting the elders in this house on how are things done in the house of Crowby, so that you are what? Protected spiritually. While we are here, we're gonna talk about spiritual callings, right? Spirituality is found in the family unit. Spirituality equals family unit. There is no way that you can serve another family that you don't fall in, right? You cannot have an ancestral calling or a prophetic calling if these guys don't have them. I mean, this new family doesn't have it. It is not possible. Because you are serving this house, you will serve according to this house. I'm not sure if I'm making sense. So if there was never an Inyanga here, why are you an Inyanga? If there was never a prophet here, why are you a prophet? It means you're confused. Unless, of course, you are in a new family. So let's talk. Okay, I just want to do something before I go there, right? There's a story of King Saul. This is the family unit of Jacob. Jacob's family unit. There is this story in the Bible. People like to recite it to say, yeah, but we are supposed to go to and invoke the dead. It is in the Bible. Let's look at that. I love tackling things that people debate about so that there can be more conversation, right? So we have King Saul. King Saul consults to a prophet called Samuel. All of these guys are under this family unit. Right? When Prophet Samuel is alive, a decree is written to say, every witch, those who decided to do dark magic, who invoke the dead, who invokes the dead, should what? Should be removed from every land that is occupied by this family unit. So this is the order of this family. We no longer want people going to speak to the dead. They are not saying that you cannot invoke the dead. They are saying that it is forbidden because it is not their order. They are supposed to do things according to Jacob or Israel, right? Jacob and Israel is the same person. Jacob, who wrestled with God, became what? Became Israel. All right, so when Prophet Samuel is alive, King Saul carries out this to say, in this family unit, we are not going to do this. All of them are gone, right? Now, when he dies, he doesn't have anyone to consult to, okay? So he goes and looks for a witch, or the one who invokes the dead using dark magic, the one who chose death when people were choosing life, right? Then he goes and say, I want you to invoke a spirit, consulting the dead, right? I want you to invoke the spirit so that he can tell me what to do. Then he breaks the order of this house. Broken. Now, in his invocation, Prophet Samuel is saying to him that, why are you disturbing me, right? And because you have done this, not only are you going to die tomorrow, but all your lineage is going to be wiped out. So do you see the consequences of breaking a family order, a family unit, how the family functions, right? So these are the Jews. These are what? The Jews. So everything should be done according to the order of the house, not because, we are African, this is our thing. Why am I saying this? Because a lot of people will see other Africans doing things and try to follow them, whilst they've never seen it in their own house. I mean, your father, your mother, they've raised you, they've not been engaging in any of that thing. But then you, because you have a friend who goes and consults to a prophet or a sangoma, or goes to the graveyard to do these things, what do? You follow that. And then you break what? The order of your own family unit. If that's how they're doing things, or they've been doing things in your own family unit, then okay. But if not, it means now you're creating a spiritual conflict unaware, and you don't even know it, right? And then you're causing more confusion than before. Others are even worse. They will go to consult to a sangoma, then go to a prophet, then go to this church denomination, then another church denomination, then go and look for some spiritual person somewhere. Imagine how much conflict you are causing for yourself unknowingly, right? So does it mean we have to follow Saul because Saul did it? Saul did it and there were consequences, right? So we cannot follow somebody who did not receive a blessing from what he did. In fact, the Bible says that all families of the earth, this is not even this is the Torah that says this. All families of the earth will be blessed through Abraham. Will be blessed through Abraham. So the people who read about Abraham, this is Islam, this is the Jews, this is Christians. I'm not sure which other religion follows the root of Abraham, but it says that all of the families of the earth will be blessed through what? Through Abraham. All right, moving on. So what was I saying? I was saying that all of the families will be blessed through Abraham. All families of the earth will be blessed through Abraham. All right, so if you believe in this, you will know how to find your family unit blessing. All right, I don't want to dwell much on that, but I'm sure we're gonna tackle it also because this is a big topic. Now, I want to talk about the family that Jesus came to start, right? So God wanted to start a family unit. God is a spiritual being. People who are not spiritual will never acknowledge God, right? I don't care which religion you believe in, which denomination you belong to, you will know that there's a God, right? That's why you are spiritual in the first place, because you believe there's a higher power, okay? So God wants to start a new family, right? And then we have Jesus, who pays a price. Who pays a price so that everyone who is to believe in him, comes to be adopted into this family. Talking about adoption. Okay? Everyone who is to believe in Jesus, what price did Jesus pay? This is to do with the cross. This is to do with what? The cross. So he paid the ultimate price. He paid it once, and he said it is finished. So everyone who is to believe in Jesus, now becomes adopted into a new family unit. So Christianity is a religion, but what Jesus came to establish is a family unit. So I don't want us to confuse the two. There is the religion, Christianity, and there is the family unit that Jesus came to establish. Jesus didn't come to establish a religion, which is Christianity. No. This is a religion. Jesus came to start a family in which he is the firstborn. The firstborn. The firstborn. So people who misunderstood his mission or his mandate made him into a religion, which is what he's not. If you read the book of Ephesians, it says that God was pleased to adopt many into his family, and then that they should receive an inheritance. Now we're talking about inheritance or customary right. Customary right, or blessings, as some might call it. Doesn't matter what you call it. Okay? So, when you accept Jesus, a new process happens. Your old identity dies. And you have a new identity. Just as Sarah Williams, as we spoke about before, a new identity is created. Gone, new one. What does this mean? It means now that the order of the old, if you are from Krol B, and in Krol B, they had their certain way of doing things, certain way of serving. Now you no longer belongs to this. Your mandate, spiritual mandate, is no longer coming from here. You cannot serve this house, but you serve a new house. Your spiritual mandate comes from here now. Spiritual mandate. All right? So we forget about what our fathers taught us to say. If you want to engage with us, you must call our names and what. Listen, whoever you call the name is the one that you invoke. Is the one that you want to create a covenant with. So you have to ensure that what? You understand what you're getting yourself in. Otherwise, you're going to sign a contract without reading it, right? And you know what happens to people who sign contracts without reading it. And I promise you that whatever you sign up for, you have no choice but to follow through, because there is law in the Spirit, and the law of the Spirit does not put you in jail, and it doesn't have, police who can be incompetent, but it will follow you wherever you are, right? So we established that, okay, that then this family unit that Jesus created, this new one, let's put it here, has its order. There's a new order now. That's why you have to be retaught. You have to now be, I think teaching is key to this. However, there are many doctrines, right? Some might claim that they are putting you into this family unit that Jesus has done, but you find that they are putting you in their own family unit. Huh? How so? How so? Well, the question is, in what name do you pray? If you are to pray, in what name is your prayer? Are you really following? Are they teaching you the doctrine that Christianity is teaching? Or did they make up their own doctrine to disguise as though is the family unit that Jesus has created? Because it's possible that you'll think that you are in the family unit, but then you are in another family unit. You're calling names that you're not supposed to be calling. You are engaging in the things that you're not supposed to be engaging. So now when you are in this, this order dies. When you are from here, the crawl one, the order of crawl one from here to here, you have a new identity. You do everything that is here. Your spiritual mandate comes from here. Okay? So you are serving this house. You cannot come with the old Sarah Williams because old Sarah Williams is dead. In fact, this will never identify you unless you go and re-invoke them. And then that's when you create conflict, right? So now we have an issue. Christians, I want to talk about Christians specifically because I'm a Christian. Not the religion, but the family unit. I am not of the religion. Don't confuse it, right? So now, in this new family unit that Ephesians 1:5 talks about, in this new family unit, question is, does Lobola still stand? What do I mean? I mean that if now two Christians want to marry each other, do they have to go and have a bridal price? Definitely not. Definitely not, because the order of this new house is not the old order of the old house. So, in the old house, what were you doing? You were pleasing the ancestors of the two crawls. To say, okay, now we took, this woman is no longer belongs to you, she belongs to these ancestors. But now when you come into this family unit, you no longer belong to ancestors, you belong to God. So God says, I don't want you to come through ancestries or this long route. I want to have a relationship with you directly. Hence, you hear the word Father. Father. Father is the head of what? Of a crawl. You belong to the crawl of the Father, right? So God says, I don't want you to talk to me as though the God of Abraham. That was the family unit of Jacob. That is old. Now we have a new family unit of God. Not Jacob, not Israel, not Abraham or Isaac, but of God himself, where now you can directly talk to him because you are adopted and you have an inheritance in him. Right? So you no longer belong to the ancestors. You belong to God in this crawl. I'm not sure if I'm making sense. Now, I paid the bridal price, right? Not to appease the ancestors. Or not because I'm not aware of what it does spiritually, but because I was dealing with people who cannot comprehend spiritual things. right? You must always act with wisdom among the people who are not spiritual, because they might harden their hearts towards you and cause them angers and those things. And if you're a person who is supposed to be, healing and all these things, you're not supposed to anger people. So why did I pay the bridal price? Did I not understand? Why did I pay Lobola? Like I said, I was dealing with carnal people. And I went their route so that they can be able to accept my wife. Whether they love her or hate her, that's their issue. But because I follow what they believe in, then there's an acceptance that, hey, wait a minute, this person has paid a bridal price, right? Acceptance. Like I said, if whether they love her or hate her, it is not up to me. Mine was to say, hey, I will observe your order so that you can accept the wife. Not because I believe I belong to the ancestors, because I don't belong in that family unit anymore. So why are you still using your surname or your last name? Surname, last name, whatever. Aren't you supposed to change? That's another question, because you have to change your name. Now it says those who are called by my name. So God says those who are called by my name. So when you belong to this family unit that Jesus has established, you are now called by the name of God. Why am I still called by my grandfather's surname or my grandfather's name? Well, that is a good question, but I just saw that it's a lot of admin for me to be changing things and all these things, and God called me to be adopted into his family so I can bring light to my previous or my current, let's say my current last name. In the spirit, when you accept Christ, the old is gone, the new has come. You are now a new creation, and you are no longer perceived as this, but you are called by the name of God, not by the name of your grandfather or your mother or an ancestry, but the name of God in the spirit. But in the physical, I decided to keep it, and I decided to follow what carnal people follow, not because I believe in them, but because what? Because I wanted my wife to be accepted. All right. So I'm not sure if you guys have questions. If you have questions, just comment below, and we can take it further if you want part 2 or what. So I believe that, this time I went in, I drilled it. So yeah, that is about dowry. Lobola, like I said, is not an African concept. And don't go with people who are saying, oh, but we are Africans, we're supposed to do these things because we are Africans. most of the things that they are doing is spiritual, and they identify it as African, right? Like going to the graveyard and speaking to people who passed away. That is not spiritual. I mean, that is spiritual, not African. Like going to a prophet and consulting. That is not African. That is spiritual, right? Or praying or whatever. These things are spiritual concept. Don't use the color of your skin to try and recruit people to do what you are doing when you don't even understand it, right? You have to understand why you're doing what you're doing, and it's supposed to represent the crawl that you fall in. What I'm not saying come and fall under the crawl that Jesus has done. I'm saying that in the crawl that you are in that crawl that you are in right now, what is the order of things being done? Huh? Are you following your friends? Or are you following the order of the crawl? Because if you are following your friends, you are lost. You have lost, you don't know your identity. You are supposed to follow what your father is doing. What your great-grandfather, what your grandfather, your great-grandfather have been doing. There's an order. And if you invoke these people whilst you are invoking this way, then you're creating a conflict in the spirit. And they might be confused. They might not recognize the things that you're doing, right? And this will cause more issues than anything else. So you know your identity and you align with your identity. Alignment in the spirit. Alignment. This is alignment. What your father has done, what your grandfather has done, what your great-grandfather has done. Following friends is being lost. You don't know your identity. You are not functioning in your identity. You are not aligned. All right? So yeah, this is Questions and Reason, Concepts. We're going to be dropping more. Welcome to Concepts. I would love to hear from you. Cheers.